Welcome to the Pattern Recognizer. Most people are running programs they never chose. Patterns inherited, programmed, and unconsciously repeated. Today we expose one of those patterns, see exactly how it works, and discover the precise shift that can set you free. Let's begin. Have you ever felt inexplicably blocked the moment something important comes into view? You promise yourself you'll start, or say you deserve better, then do the exact opposite. That sense of owing yourself something, a broken vow, a postponed gift, shows up as sabotage. I'll name the pattern for you now, the shadow ledger, and I'll teach you one simple 4-minute daily practice, the ledger rebalance, that begins to close that gap between promise and life. Small, structural, precise. One shift changes everything. Picture a ledger book, neat lines, columns for credit and debit. Now imagine it sealed, hidden behind the sternum. Every time a child promises to be brave to please a parent, every withheld dream, every self-promise deferred, it is entered as a debit. Interest compounds as guilt, resentment, or a low hum of dissatisfaction. That sealed book becomes an invisible authority that keeps writing your limits. A brief story. A client I worked with for years avoided asking for a promotion. On paper they were capable, respected, and ready. But privately they had a string of small promises to themselves left unpaid. An art class postponed, a morning routine abandoned, a private vow to stop pleasing at personal cost. Those unpaid entries organized their behavior so tightly that taking the promotion felt like added debt. The ledger, unseen, was guiding decisions. So how does the shadow ledger actually operate? First, psychology. Early conditioning writes identity scripts. I'm not worth that. I must be small to be loved. And those become persistent cognitive accounts. Every time you ignore an internal promise, you log another debit. And the mind seeks to resolve imbalance by actions that maintain identity, often self-limiting ones. This is not failure, it's bookkeeping. Now the esoteric frame, think sacred geometry. An equilateral triangle is stable. 3 equal sides, equal energy flow. When one side shortchanges itself, the triangle tips. The ledger is the missing length. Rosicrucian inner alchemy teaches transmutation, taking base impulses, guilt and regret, and converting them into ordered, conscious energy. Gnosticism teaches that knowledge of the mechanism dissolves its authority, combine them, see the missing side, and then rebuild it with deliberate acts. There's also a numerological rhythm here. Repeated moments where the same unmet promise appears in different forms. Monday mornings avoided, the 3 p.m. urge to procrastinate, the pattern of saying next month 3 times. Recognize repetition as interest compounding. When you spot the number, you've found a clue to the ledger's topology. This is practical mysticism, patterns, numbers, and structure pointing to a specific repair. Here's the reframe I want you to carry. Debts to yourself are not moral failures. They are misallocated creative energy. Guilt and shame act like ledgers insisting on punishment. Stoic clarity says, accept the fact of the ledger, then act with reason. Rosicrucian practice says, transmute the raw material, convert guilt into scheduled, sacred action. When you stop punishing yourself and begin reassigning that energy, the ledger stops dictating your life. Now the precise, actionable shift, the 4-minute ledger rebalance. 4 minutes, nightly or morning. that interrupts the compound interest of arrears. It's secular, simple, and sacred if you want it to be. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Recognize. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Name one thing you owe yourself. Not an abstract list. A single arrear. Be specific. I owe myself 20 minutes of creative time, or I owe myself a clear boundary with X. Say it out loud or internalize it. Naming moves dead from myth into reality. Step 2. Name the real cost. What does leaving this unpaid actually cost you in time, energy, or lost identity? Be concrete. Does it cost you focus, joy, the possibility of being seen? Write one sentence. Naming cost transforms emotion into information, and information is actionable. Step 3. Assign a tiny, sacred action. Pick one micro-action you can complete within the next 24 hours, ideally 1 to 4 minutes. Send that email, set a 4-minute timer, and start. Place the sketchbook on the table. The action must be scheduled. Write a time and treat it as a debt repayment. Smallness is the point. The ledger responds to consistent entries, not grand gestures. Step 4. Consecrate with breath and number. Take 4 slow breaths. In for 4 counts, out for 4 counts. With the final exhale, say quietly, "This is paid to me." If ritual language feels off, say scheduled. The number 4 grounds the practice. 4 minutes, 4 breaths. A structural anchor that returns the triangle to balance. Do that every day. Log 1, small repayment. Over weeks, the ledger fills with credits. Not to prove worthiness, but to reallocate creative energy toward who you intend to be. The pattern that used to maintain sabotage now supports aligned action. Return to the center. One shift changes everything. Brief recap. Name the shadow ledger. Understand its bookkeeping, psychology plus esoteric architecture. Reframe that as misallocated creativity and apply the 4-minute ledger rebalance. Recognize, name cost, schedule a tiny action, consecrate with breath and number. This interrupts compounded sabotage and restores authorship step by step. If you want the worksheet that lays these steps out and helps you track 4 minutes a day, download the Ledger Rebalance worksheet at Desmarques.com. The Show Hub has the PDF and a secular template if ritual language isn't your style. Try it tonight and tell me what you notice. Most people don't see it because they're living inside it. That is the pattern. That is the mechanism. And that is your shift today. If you're ready to decode the full architecture of your life, explore my complete library at Desmarques.com. The pattern is the prison. Awareness is the key. I'll see you in the next episode.